You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
Yeah, we're here.
You are now tuned into the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. I have my mic where it's supposed to be now. Sorry about that. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hello.
Jay Moore, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. You know, it's that crazy weather. You know, hopefully that doesn't make anyone sick out here. 60 one day, 22 the next.
Gets me every time, man.
I've been lucky. I've been lucky to kind of get through this portion of the winter without any ailments.
Yeah, it gets spooky in Indiana with the weather. So hopefully I can shake it and the weather can become consistent. So
stay on. Make sure you eat your fruits and vegetables.
Definitely.
Get some elderberry in the mix if you are so inclined.
Yeah, bought me a bag of spinach the other day for my smoothies.
Okay, so, there you go.
Yeah, Lonegevity, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
No problem. Happy to oblige.
Yes, sir.
With the answering of the questions.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutations, what's going on?
You good?
Yep.
Anything new? Same old, same old?
Same old.
Okay. All right, let me get into this.
Working, day.
You know.
There's the sun, there's the moon, and stars.
Can we address this thing that Black Thought isn't influential?
I think we should.
Because
I've
I've heard people say this many times in the last couple of days that Black Thought isn't influential, and I don't understand where they're really coming from, because I understand how he gets overlooked because he's in a band, but he was. I mean, the Roots.
I mean, you just took the words right out of my mouth. It's like it's the Roots. It's not like he's in just a regular hip hop band. That's an iconic band that he's been barring up since they came out.
But you got to realize they're not a commercial hip hop group, so to speak. Like the Roots, the most commercial thing they ever did was being on the Night Show.
Yeah, or as far as musically, it was You Got Me.
Right.
That was the one that won them the Grammy, and
that album was fire too.
Fire. But I mean, I put the Roots as one of the best groups I've ever seen live.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Their music, Black Thought doesn't have a whack verse.
I've never heard
in
one.
30 years at least.
Yeah, doesn't have a whack verse.
If y'all can find one in the comments, post a link and say, hey.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw that
think
today.
This is a whack verse.
I saw somebody today say, and shouts if he's listening because he's a listener, but he said, yeah, he would get like no influence. I'm just like.
Black Thought would get no influence?
First of all, Black Thought is like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fonte is the same way. Yeah. Like, you know, for whatever you think about Doja Cat showing feet in racial chat rooms, like when she was going crazy over Little Brother versus Fonte's verses specifically, from the listening,
head still bobbing in my
Drake.
Come on,
Fonte is one of Drake's favorite rappers.
Well, that goes to Fonte's influence, right? That's why it's so high,
right?
So, I mean, if you think of how big Drake's influence is, well, it just so happened that he was
influenced by this guy over here that you don't think.
But I think just the fact that Black Thought never really changed out of who he is.
True.
He's in arguably the biggest hip hop band ever. I don't think there is another hip hop band that's bigger.
I mean,
than
he
them.
is in the biggest hip hop band.
I don't see if there's any, and they've been around for.
They're on Jimmy Fallon every night.
There's that too, right?
Yeah.
That just takes it through the roof.
And everybody who is that you're never going to hear anybody that's a rapper downplay Black Thought.
No, you're not.
Because you
it's
can't.
more so consumers that don't really listen to him or aren't into him. Like, for example, when I went to the Jazz Fest in Cincinnati, the Roots were one of the groups that performed. Nobody was really paying attention to when the Roots were on stage, other than like me and my brother was like, are y'all serious?
Yeah.
Like, that's Black Thought and Questlove and them down there.
Yeah.
And nobody really cared. They was talking and stuff all through his set. But I mean, that just goes to show that a lot of the goodness is masked by the filtered down stuff, because that's what you hear mostly. So you're not hip to it like that, and you're not familiar with it because you just didn't listen.
Do you think I saw this argument too. Do you think that because of the divide of the Roots being quote unquote more conscious is part of it as well?
Definitely.
Possibly,
as something that hinders.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think their content and their subject matter is not for the masses. So yeah, I think that goes into the equation. That might even be Terry's point about why people weren't necessarily vibing. It's a vibe to us. It's a vibe to me. but everybody not.
We played instruments too, so that might be another allure of it.
But it's the phrase that I've said for years that still stands is you always hear people say, man, ain't nobody trying to hear that. You hear that every once in a while. That may even apply to the Roots, to certain people. Sure. But just to dismiss it and be like, nah, he didn't have any influence or it should be the lowest, I can't vouch for that.
Actually, the Roots are the first time I ever heard Benny Siegel was on a Roots album. Things Fall Apart. Can't remember the name of the song he was on, but that was the first time I heard him.
But also, when you talk about the Roots, like they've done records on Def Jam. Like I remember when Game Theory came out.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, when it came out, I just couldn't get into it. And then I listened to it like when it wasn't like, it came out like during the summer or something. And I was like, this ain't no summer album.
Right.
You know, I had to wait for
they drop Fall Vibe
leaves to
they
hit
really
the
do
ground.
though.
You know, but you know, of course, records like, you know, How I Got Over and Undone and Then You Shoot Your Cousin. These are not things we're like, hey, we got a single coming up from the Roots. We can play right next to whatever is hot right now. Like
these are Cody Chestnut, the single off there, or was that Phrenology?
That was on Phrenology. Yeah.
He was on
The
How
C
I Got
part,
Over too,
C
wasn't
2.0.
he? I thought
Cody Chestnut.
Yeah, I thought he was. Maybe not. I'd have to look it up.
I'm not sure.
But I think that's probably a good point too. I feel like in general the Roots make a very specific type of, you know, if we're gonna take it to musical terms, I feel like, you know, you have pop music, and a lot of pop music historically is major chords, happy chords. The Roots are in the minors. They're in it's a lot more like
It's chord selection. It's
the way it feels is very much somber in a way.
It's very much October.
Yeah. So I can see that if you don't like that style of music, or it takes you to a place like that, then I guess that would make sense too. But I don't think there's any denying how great he is, especially when he goes and he's dropped like 3 or 4 projects in the last handful of years.
Yeah, just
the most recent was the Danger Mouse joint, right?
Danger Mouse, Salam Remy. Didn't he do one with Ninth Wonder too? Or am I thinking? I don't know. Maybe I'm.
Did he and Ninth? Did he and Ninth do one?
I think he dropped. Yeah, the Ninth.
I can't remember.
I think it was 2 of them. So yeah, look that up.
Because I know the one with Salam and I know the one with Danger Mouse.
Yeah, I thought he dropped one with. Maybe not. Maybe I'm misstruing that. But then, you know, when he dropped his Flex freestyle, I mean, what are we even talking about anymore?
Ninth versus Thought.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
was it just a thought?
I think that's a record. Though.
Streams of Thought.
Streams of Thought.
Volume 1. There it is. Yep.
So the whole project
produced by Ninth Wonder. Yep.
There's 2. There's 2 versions.
Yeah,
Is there a second one?
Yeah, there's
primarily produced by Ninth Wonder.
Primarily. Okay.
Primarily. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. You were right. Yep. You were right.
So 2 Streams of Thoughts projects, Danger Mouse project. And then he dropped the Flex thing within that as well, a little bit earlier than that, than the Danger Mouse thing, and then of course being the MC on Fallon.
Come on, man!
Yeah. I mean,
that's a hell of a resume.
I mean, like it's one of the best resumes if you really want to sit and think about it. Like if you want to sit objectively, like
he out there.
Here's another crazy thing too that we couldn't factor in that we talked about is we couldn't.
Live performance.
We couldn't factor in live performance. And I don't know how many people have told me, even people sitting at this table, that the Roots is the best, one of the greatest performances ever. So I don't know.
And one of the best producers was a part of the Roots at one point in time. That being Scott Storch.
True.
Yeah.
No, I mean the Roots are phenomenal. Like I said, they may not have the quote unquote mainstream success, but you know, being on the show helps. But nah, man, to just say it's not there, disagree. Yeah, I'm cool on that. I don't know if y'all saw this, but QC's been in the news of late.
I did. I saw Coach K and
P
on Ari Melber on MSNBC talking about this one with Scooter Braun.
Yeah, I think it's called. Is it Hybe or is it Hybe? I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. HYBE. That's the name. It's called.
That's the company.
Yeah, Hybe America maybe. It's led by him, and the acquisition was $300 million. They say it's still going to be a partnership, so they'll have some say so. They'll still have some say so, but Braun will be the, I guess, final decision in terms of stuff. So the artists will still be on there, but they no longer have. We'll just say the final say so after the
Bieber
partnership.
About to be on QC.
Bieber definitely about to be on QC. But who's on there? Yachty. Who am I missing?
City Girls.
Migos technically aren't anymore because Offset left.
Right.
So now there's just 𝐀𝐄𝐀𝐃𝐒.
Yeah.
𝐀𝐄𝐃 alone. Who else is on there?
Let's see.
Duke Deuce.
Duke Deuce, yep. We was talking about Memphis earlier. But I also saw backlash. People in the black community and black Twitter and hip hop in general was saying, man, we never can own anything. Why do we always have to give up ownership?
I understand it, but there's two sides to that coin.
Talk to me about the two sides.
All right, so in a sense, as far as keeping the culture within the culture,
okay,
I understand the argument. But technically, when you own something, a lot of times the end game is to sell it off. Now, if you want to pick and choose who you sell it to, that's a different story. But I get why they want to sell it off.
For the record,
maybe they want to move on and do something else.
For the record, real quick, bro, it's $300 million in cash plus stock in the company.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
So,
I mean,
but go ahead, but finish your thought. I'm
ahead,
sorry, I just want you to get the numbers.
Well, no, it's just more so. I understand people being upset about essentially selling the culture outside of the culture to somebody else to essentially represent this brand. Obviously, Scooter Braun does not look like somebody that would own QC.
I agree.
When you look at the roster and where these people came from or whatnot, it's just one of those things where it looks weird, essentially. And then Coach K and what's his name? P have been the face of QC. And it's just weird to see Justin Bieber's manager essentially owning these artists essentially right now. So, I mean, I get it. But at the end of the day, somebody is still rich off of this.
Hey, he says Braun says QC is one of the most significant independent labels in the world. They not only distribute music, but they also distribute culture. Their artists are the voices of their communities. So, to your point, now he'll be representing what...
Is Lil Baby on QC? I believe he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the most successful artist right now.
Yeah, Lil Baby definitely is. Yeah, he's that dude for sure. Go ahead, Jay Moore.
Well, they said it in Terry said it is like you build these companies up so you can sell them.
Right.
There's all this mindset of selling out, but really this is about people buying in. Okay. And also when you talk about $300 million, do you realize the amount of capital that is for you to be able to do other things?
That's a good point.
And just because they sold this off, it's like, okay, what are they going to create next?
Exactly.
They're going to create something else with that $300 million. To hopefully
transmission.
To hopefully where, okay, whatever we create with this, we'll be able to sell that for $1 billion next time. It's not like they gave them a deal and said, all right, this is the best you can do. Look, they probably negotiated $300 million was what was their number.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times, I think it's brilliant because think about it. When you own a record label, you're essentially in 2023, you own something that doesn't sell anything.
You're an anomaly.
That's the crazy thing. You're owning they paid $300 million for a company that doesn't sell anything. They stream things,
stream a lot,
but think about it. When it was Death Row, they're at least selling something. When it was Bad Boy, when it was Master P and Cash Money and No Limit, at least you could say, hey, they're selling something.
They had a product.
You can quantify it through, they sold 1.7 million of this.
That's true.
They pulled 3 million of this. Like, I think it's a genius move and incredible when literally they sold for $300 million. They sold something that doesn't sell anything.
And they sold their IP.
IP, and that's really all That's really all anybody has now, because no one actually buys anything.
Yeah.
I don't. Just like we talked about how we don't buy video games anymore. We get them through subscription services. We stream all of our music.
Yep.
We stream all of our movies. And right now they're still trying to figure out that business plan, because Spotify doesn't make any money.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix is, when you look at their balance sheet, like, because this is when I look into things to invest in, I'm like, wait a minute, they don't sell anything. In fact, they're always in the red. So they're still figuring out a business plan, but they're like, okay, well, we know somewhere down the line we'll be able to make this $300 million make sense. We may not be able to make sense right now, but look, we need to get in on the ground floor of this. And once again, $300 million is significant capital to do other things, to go into other business ventures. There might be, because you don't want to stick around too long trying to do this, because you'll wake up one day and nobody cares. Like, for lack, I don't want to say nobody cares, but
yeah,
you'll wake up one day and be like, oh, Bad Boy's not hot anymore.
Well, what's going on with 𝐀𝐄𝐄 and Offset right now? It might be been the best thing for him to do.
Like, I remember when
I didn't even think about it like that.
Straight up.
When Russell Simmons sold Fat Farm for $150 million, it was to a company in St. Louis called Kellwood. And just looking a couple years after that, I don't think it was, if you'd have put $150 million inside one of those hoodies, Fat Farm wasn't worth $150 million.
He sold the farm.
He sold it literally when people didn't care. Like, so, I mean, it was a great business move for them. Not so much for Kellwood, because I don't think they even did anything with that particular IP after, because it just wasn't hot anymore.
He sold in Winsat Indian style.
Lona, I want to hear what you think. What you think about this acquisition, man? What do you think?
I think
is the backlash. How you feel about that part? Is that
the backlash comes from poor people?
Exactly.
Okay.
Who don't own it? Who instead of understanding what it is to own a piece of something, they'd rather own 100% of nothing.
Lone, talk to me, man. What just thoughts in general?
Well, I mean, Jay kind of makes the point that I was going to make, to the sense of, I feel like it. We're all saying it's a good thing for them, just from, again, I'm going to bring it up again, I guess, every episode, from a capitalist ideology.
There we go.
But I mean, let's be real. I mean, that's what it is. We're praising them for being good capitalists.
True.
So
it's the American way.
The thing that kind of stands out to me is, here's where I think it could potentially be problematic down the line, is if we talk about monopolies, and we talk about a certain type of person that is buying up all these people's music, who is literally going to then be a capital owner of that specific thing. This gives QC money, but it removes capital in that aspect.
Okay.
So in this aspect, QC is no longer capital owners of this specific thing that they've built. They have sold all of that capital to somebody else. Now somebody else owns that. Now, I don't know. I mean, it does give them, I feel like the arguments are valid for, now they can build something else. Now they can do whatever they want with everything they want to do. But I do kind of, I don't want to say I'm worried, but I'm wary of people, of people that come in and just buy stuff up and then will collectively make money off of this essentially forever, and will own. I mean, think about other monopolies that we have in this country, right? Think about the food industry, and it's owned by like 7 companies or something, or the airlines or stuff like that. So yes, we're talking about media, but in the same sense, it's kind of the same thing. And when I look at it from that lens, it's just kind of problematic to me.
Yeah, you're right, and it kind of also depends on these artists, how their deals are structured. So if their deals are structured to where they own some sort of their publishing, them owning QC doesn't do a whole lot to them. I'm sure that, it factors in money somewhere in there, but it's not stealing all their property essentially. So it is interesting to see what's going to happen with this.
What do you guys think about a slightly devil's advocate here, but what do you guys think about how Master P talked about No Limit in the beginning when he said he had got that first offer? He said, well, if this person
from Interscope, I remember that.
What am I really worth? Like, is it the $300 million? Now, far be it for me to be counting pockets for somebody to get $300 million. Like, get your money and do what you got to do. But is that, if it's valued at $300 million in terms of this partnership or this negotiation, they jumped on it quick. Does a part of me think, I wonder what it would have been worth if somebody else would have offered? Could I have received 5 from somebody else on the Master P type thought?
Well, essentially, you're supposed to, if you sell something, somebody that's buying it wants to leave some room in there for them to make money.
That's true.
That's just how you do things.
That's true.
That at least what I was taught or how I learned is if you're selling something off, or if you're buying something, you want to leave some wiggle room in there for you to make money. And the other party understands that too. So they're purchasing it or accepting the offer knowing that they're still gaining something out of it.
Yeah.
So
I could dig that.
Well, It's also when you sell it, because you want to make sure that you're selling high. What if
That's a good point.
They decide no, we want to hold on to it in 3 years. QC is not the label it is now,
right?
And then they said, hey, remember when we were going to offer you $300 million? We'll give you 25 now.
That's a good point.
But at the same time, I mean, it's all a certain level of gambling, because what if the next person they put out on QC winds up being Drake? And then you're like, oh, well, now it's $600 million if you want. But that's the whole. That is capitalism.
Yeah.
That is like every day when I look at my portfolio, I'm like, wow, I should have bought this. I should have bought this then, or I should have sold this then.
Pork bellies.
Well, no, I don't mess.
Pork bellies?
I don't mess with.
I know.
I'm not into that level of investment. I know what you're talking about. Frozen concentrated orange juice. Shout out to everybody who remembers Trading Places. But I just feel like I feel like it was a good move for them.
Yeah.
Because like I said, every record label other than really Cash Money, we talked about several episodes ago. At one point we were like, man, I would love to have a part of Slip and Slide. Or, man, 𝐀𝐄𝐃, imagine being down with Death Row. And then you look up and like Death Row is just being passed around. Luckily Snoop
as an NFT.
Yeah, luckily Snoop and I saw the announcement that the Death Row catalog will be going back to streaming services.
Now I'm happy about that.
Now, mind you, people got to understand what the Death Row catalog is. That's Snoop's 2 albums. That's going to be Dog Food.
Yep.
It's going to be Murder Was the Case soundtrack, which is a big deal.
Oh, is that coming back?
I need that.
Murder
I
Was
need
the Case
that.
has not been on streaming.
You might get lucky and find it on YouTube.
No, it's on YouTube.
But does it have all the songs?
First of all, everything's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking.
I've definitely listened to it on YouTube.
I always feel like it was missing joints, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
So, but once again, it depends on who. It really ownership it determines who makes those decisions of what goes on streaming, what streaming app it winds up being on, because you can make those exclusive deals and say, okay, this is only on Tidal or only on whatever.
I mean, the article said he will have the final say so. Like, it's still somewhat of a partnership, but he's
still getting percentages of something. He's getting. I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
once again, they said it's a partnership. They didn't just there's a big deal. There's a big difference.
They bought into it. Essentially.
Yeah. Once again, there's a big difference between selling out and buying in. And
so
buying in.
He's going to be the head guy. They walked away with 300 of them things, and to Jay Moore's point, we'll see.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
I can't frown at that.
I can't frown at 300 million on something that I built.
Let's see if he brings some of that back to Nap though. I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
because it's a wrap for anybody from Nap sounding the QC now.
Shout out to them brothers, man. They came up at the end of the day, and I like to see people successful. It's a win for them, and I'm in the Jay Moore camp where we'll see what they do next. And hopefully it's something dope, and hopefully it's something involved in hip hop, and it's evolution, man. Whatever they do. The great Tupac was in the news. Well, actually, his estate. They say in 2023 they are going to be releasing some 4 joints that are unreleased from him, and it's got me thinking about the concept of a lot of our rappers that have passed, like Tupac and Biggie, and the conversation that continues to last. If you go to YouTube and just see what's my man's name? Oh, I love his content. Art of Dialogue, I believe is the name. His name is Art. He's got kind of like a Vlad type platform. He's a black guy, real dope content. I always see people like me and Jay Moore were talking about Gene Deal one time. Remember you talking about Gene Deal?
Okay, yeah.
I'd
rather him continue to talk to artists. Those are good comments. But it's just
but I always see the conversation. We always see articles pop up about who killed this person, who shot this person, who did this, and it's like 25. How long was that? 96?
96, 97.
So a lot of this stuff continues to come up. Is that good to resurface and continue to talk about this stuff if it's not from an investigative standpoint?
It ain't no different than what they did with Elvis and stuff.
Oh,
it's Tupac is the hip hop side of things. There's people still going to visit Graceland or whatnot.
I mean, I guess the conversation sometimes on the platforms. I'm like, when you talk about, I use Gene as an example because I'm pro Gene. Jay Moore's anti.
I'm not so much
in terms of what he
but it's just like, unless we gonna arrest somebody for the murders of these people,
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm tired of hearing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like, yeah, but nobody's going to jail. Technically, even though technically these murders have been solved, Like nobody's in jail,
right?
And unless you're gonna talk to me about somebody going to jail for taking these artists away from us, I really don't want to hear what you guys say.
It's like it's story time now. Like even like with the unreleased records, that's our era. I'll be hype. I'd be curious to hear them, but it's just a lot of that stuff
wouldn't
continues.
necessarily be hype about it.
No.
Oh well, you a big Tupac fan, so that surprises me.
The thing about it is, once these artists pass away, you're hearing it not in the way they necessarily wanted you to hear it.
Right.
There's a reason why it may not be out yet.
Like I heard,
there was released.
There was a song. I know what the original sounds like. It had a Prince sample, and maybe that's why it never hit.
That's expensive sample. And I don't even know what the song is.
The song was called Pac's Life, and it sampled Pop Life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Pac was not going to green like that.
Well, no. See, that's the one that he actually that was done when he was alive. But then they put out a version of it on one of his posthumous releases, and it was the same lyrics, but it had Ashanti on it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, don't nobody like. No, no.
I was not with that record. I remember that.
I want to hear like I said, I heard the bootlegs of probably off Machiavelli 17 or whatever they had out in the streets at the time.
Super gritty.
And I don't want to hear Tupac and 7th Street or do I don't. He didn't know
the
these
last
people.
Good album that came out with Tupac's lyrics on it that he had nothing to do with was the Outlaw album. I can't remember the name.
Still I Rise.
Still I Rise. That's the last album that I can say this still sounds good.
There were a
Tupac lyrics.
There are a couple joints off of Until the End of Time, but
what was the
after
double?
that, I was done.
What was the double disc that had "Do for
All
Love"?
Eyes on Me. Oh, double disc.
No, man. The
one
that
was the one that had the painted picture of him.
That was before it, wasn't it? Do for Love.
Are You Still Down?
That
was the one that came out like right. That was
That had some heat on it. To me,
it had "Do for Love."
Yeah, that had some heat on it. It was some good songs on it.
Ghetto for I don't know.
Wonder if Heaven Got a Ghetto.
Wonder if Heaven Got a Ghetto.
Yeah, like that. That project has some
everything.
Well, I think at that time they were skimming the fat off the top though, so that they had some stuff that was ready to go.
Yeah,
probably. But he has a whole bunch of stuff that's just sitting there
because they say
that are not complete. I mean, he has a whole rhyme book with an album that was called One Nation with a whole track list of songs.
Did you ever see that?
Some of those came out.
Some of them came out, but a lot of them didn't.
The production is Battle Cat, Quick.
Yeah,
the production was Buckshot.
Did any of those actually even manifest? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I agree with you. I'm just with the records. I'm actually, when you said you wouldn't necessarily be hype, that just shocks me because I know how big of a Pac fan you are, but I understand what you're saying.
I'm
unfinished form.
I don't want to hear, like I said, I don't want to hear some new producers take Pac tracks and put people on that he didn't know or might not even mess with.
I'm against that. I'm just thinking.
Like, I don't want to. Like I was not going to get excited about hearing a Tupac Ashanti song.
If it's in its raw form, I'd be interested to hear it. But to Terry's point, like he says, unfinished. I don't know if that necessarily bothers me just from the standpoint of something that I've never heard from him, but just the conversation, man. Sometimes I just see it so much and it continuously pops up and it's like there's no effort towards getting anything accomplished. It's just like story time over and over and over and over again.
I mean,
what's to be accomplished?
Yeah, I don't.
What's to be accomplished?
Well, I mean, when he talked about, Jay Moore said, what was the word you used? An investigative, or
that's more so on the whole
conspiracy
thing.
Yeah.
But as far as them making money, I mean, that's what the estate does. Like, that's the reason why I bought up Elvis. I mean, they were selling commemorative plates and
true.
His face ended up on a stamp.
They were getting that paper.
And people are still going to visit.
That's different. That's the estate. And I get that.
This is the estate.
This is the estate of Tupac too.
Okay, I'm talking about all these people who want to get on and tell stories of like, man, I told Pac not to get in the car. I'm like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Thanks for the information now.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Long?
No, I don't care about any of this.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
but seriously, like Tupac, unfortunately, has passed away, and we've heard all the music that we need to hear from Tupac. He's got a great catalog for us to listen to.
Great catalog.
We have a whole bunch of other artists, new artists out here that are making exceptional art. For me to like really worry about something that was hidden away and it was never released for specific reasons? Like, no, man, like I don't
like there's like some of those, because some of the songs you're like, oh, these are songs that were never released for a reason.
Yeah,
like,
y'all got
because they were no good
beats that you've done that nobody will ever hear, right?
Yeah, lots.
There's a reason
Lots of them.
for that, right?
Lots of them.
Essentially.
I mean, for me, I just don't have enough. I mean, I'm not trying to put out a beat tape every week. You know, nobody's gonna listen to it.
But you're right though. It's some
stuff that just ain't meant to see the light of day.
Some of it, yeah.
I agree with you there.
Now I do like
some of it is
Marvin Gaye released. Well, he didn't, but his estate released an album that he actually recorded that was never released. So this was done by Marvin Gaye, and it just never came out because they were saying it was too politically charged or something at the time. It came out like 2 years. It came out like 2 years ago,
and that's different.
And he's been gone since the 80s. So an album coming from Tupac that was never completed, that he had nothing to do with, and like you said, has new producers on it.
We don't need that.
I'm cool on that, man, because it doesn't have that Pac feel.
I hope it's not that type. Now you got me thinking. Now I hope it's not that type of Ashanti mashup type joint.
Well, it will, because remember the Biggie duets?
Yes,
and it actually was a couple songs on there that was dope too.
Yeah,
but Biggie had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and it was all verses I had heard somewhere else before.
True.
And I liked the way they sounded before.
Yeah.
And you just kind of trying to warm up cold French fries.
Without an air fryer.
Didn't even use the air fryer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I would be okay with a Tupac house album.
A house album from Pac?
Yeah, why not?
No, he's trying.
Since we're going there, let's just do it.
He knows better.
It was because
somebody will probably mess around and do it.
It was maybe about a year ago, 6 months. They put out a Biggie with whoever it was. The song was terrible. I don't want anybody to look it up.
Is that bad?
I don't need to. Yeah, I'm not even going to rack my brain trying to figure out who they had him collaborating with, because I heard like the first 30 seconds of it, I was like, this is trash. Yeah. Like, stop trying to, there's a version of this song that he recorded when he was alive that he liked and wanted us to hear. Please stop taking these vocals and putting them over this foolishness.
Yeah. Biggie got a whole concert out right now in the metaverse. I went and looked at some of it.
When I tell
it's actually kind of dope though, because it's essentially a recreated character of him. So him and Diddy's in there. They're like, some of the videos are redone with this new Biggie look. It's
like the CGI Biggie.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool though. I went there just to check it out for a hot second, and it was dope. But his estate okayed that though.
Yeah.
So it's not like somebody's just stealing his identity and trying to make money and stuff off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw the video. I saw a video on IG where they took. Remember we talking about the Drake voice thing? The episode I was going. I saw a video where they used Kendrick's. Did you guys see that on Instagram?
That to you.
Oh yeah. Terry, you're right. Terry sent it to me. That's very scary, man.
Yeah, people about to start releasing albums
very scary.
Sounding like these artists.
I mean, the deep fake stuff is already super out there.
Nah, that's a whole rabbit hole in itself.
So when you talk about deep fake and then deep fake with audio as well, yeah. I mean, it's
Do you see the what? Well, I am not going to ask that because I know as soon as it gets big, a lot of these people are going to start getting lawsuits and stuff.
Oh, of course.
That can be very dangerous.
I've seen deepfakes of photographs where
yep,
that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And there's little things that'll let you know, oh, okay, like there'll be the elbow. They couldn't get something right.
The leg or arm will be too skinny.
Right. Or
I've seen extra row of teeth.
Like I saw this one where it's I don't know what the criteria and what they put into the AI generator, but it was if South Park was an 80s sitcom and made the characters look
that's kind of dope.
Real people.
I think those ideas are dope. Actually, TR is doing one right now where he's using dogs as NFL mascots. So he's been using the AI generator and putting it in the Illustrator and kind of messing with it himself.
He's been doing that for a minute.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of dope when you're using it the right way. But when you're using it to the fake deep stuff and you're putting out whole projects.
This guy was literally sitting in his room and just talking. He's like, man, it'll make me sound just like Kendrick. And he made a whole song, made a beat, he was rapping and it sounded like Kendrick was rapping to the beat dude just made. I said, this is
Are you
crazy.
talking about the guy that it was in Ableton?
Yes, he had Ableton up.
So he had one AI write a song like
wasn't-
Kendrick, and then another one.
He wasn't doing that in
like
real
Kendrick.
time. He wasn't doing that.
Is that different? Am I getting confused?
He wasn't doing it in real time, though, I don't think.
Okay.
He made it seem like he was. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't like a random Ableton VST that you could do.
There was one I saw that had somebody was using Eminem's voice. He was DJing and they pumped some words in there or something.
Yeah. I mean, they exist. But as far as being able to do that in real time like that, I don't think that's a thing. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
he said he used 2 different AI generators. So he used one to write the song in Kendrick's style. Then he used another one to rap that song that the other AI generator in Kendrick's voice.
So that's how he did it. Okay. Blew my mind when I saw it. I thought he was doing it in, just right there on the spot. I said, this is crazy, man. This is dangerous. Like, this could really be get spooky out here. So
it's dangerous.
Yeah, the deepfake stuff is super.
Shout out to
no, I mean it's
the
just
deepfake stuff. There's a whole big thing recently that was going on with like Twitch streamers and stuff, where this Twitch streamer apparently was on this deepfake adult site. And there's deepfake adult sites out there with a whole bunch of random like real people
putting
what
faces on stuff.
So did y'all see the one about the church? And the church was a bunch of women with big or something on it.
Yeah.
Y'all see
Nah,
that?
I ain't see
that. That was all AI generated. People thought that was real.
Much like, no, I ain't see that.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that.
People thought that this was
that.
like this real church in Atlanta where it said "Come as you are," and it had all these scantily clad women with their breasts all out, and that was fake.
Mm-hmm.
It was all fake.
I didn't know it was fake at first. I was like, wow, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shout out to whatever pastor came up with this idea.
Man.
Yeah. Lone was like, I might have to
great guy.
Come in on Friends and Family Days.
I want to go get baptized.
Man. No, I hadn't seen that, but that's scary too.
Yeah.
They giving out gasms at church.
All right, let's not bring up Smokey Robinson for 2 weeks in a row.
Disrespect. Yeah, let's cut the disrespect out.
That might be the church he attend.
What's the date for the album?
I don't have it memorized.
Oh.
I know sometime I believe end of March.
Saw some artwork today too, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Man, we'll get to it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I guess we'll just see what happens with the records, as they say, and I guess just go from there, huh? You're not too excited, are you?
Nah, man.
I think we've moved on past.
You got to realize too that I was one of the. I'm
trying to pull it out.
I was one of the wishful thinkers that thought Tupac was actually on that. He was gonna come back type stuff.
Come back from Cuba
because the way he set up that album, and then when you learned about who Machiavelli was and blah blah blah, it actually made sense.
It was perfect.
But this was back in 96, 97.
This is back when information still didn't move as quickly.
Right.
True.
So I was one of those hopeful people that eventually woke up and was like, I'm on some BS. Tupac ain't coming back.
Well, at least you came home, man.
Yeah.
Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Printfinity is a screen printing shop based in Indianapolis, owned and operated by our own DJ Jay Diff. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as $3 a month. All details on newoldheads.com.
All right, we are back. Shout out to our partners. We appreciate those partnerships and relationships as always. Let's talk Adidas. So apparently Adidas is struggling since they cut ties with Mr. West. When I say struggling, I'm talking about billions of dollars.
Billions.
And Beyonce's line isn't selling like they wanted to either.
You think that's in there too?
I mean, it has to do with a lot of that.
Okay, so it says in a profit warning issued on Thursday, Adidas said the decision to not sell existing merchandise is expected to slash the company's full year revenue by $1.28 billion and its operating profit by $533 million in a year.
That hurts.
It says the loss may be even greater if the company decides not to repurpose any of its unsold Yeezy merchandise.
Welp.
So basically, they are going to do a structured proposal to Kanye, see if they can re-engage him, get him back in the brand.
Look at that.
Try to get a little bit of this paper back.
Like Kanye is going, if they do that,
this is what I want to know.
You know what battery they're putting in the back of Kanye West?
That's my question. Lone,
I ain't even talking about a D battery. I'm talking about an
anti-Semitic
man. I can say whatever.
So I will open the
car battery.
Open the floor up by just asking, because I see Lone's computer working in his head. So how does this look, man? Just in general, because the battery, to Terry's point, the size of the battery that will be in his back if this happens will be, I don't even know how bad it can get, bro. I don't know, man.
What the biggest battery you can find is
that you can find
what would be in his back.
Jay Moore, what you think, man, about Adidas? I just look at based off everything that we know up until this point.
Well, this just speaks to something that is a steady theme on our show, especially with longevity speaking on it. This is capitalism.
Is that it?
All that, hey, we don't want to deal with someone who said these controversial anti-Jewish things.
But the bag is suffering now.
Yeah, and so now it's like, well, we don't lose all this money, so let's see if we can re-engage this now that it's...
Before we go any further, where are you reading that they're actually re-engaging with him? Because I haven't... That's news to me.
I thought that was something that's new.
No, it's that's what I was reading on this tweet. It's proposed that
some random person named DAK on Twitter.
It's not DAK. This is it's not DAK. This is on NPR. Like the concept of this actually happening is real.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't just based off a random tweet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, New York Times got a post on this too.
Okay. Well,
so it's legit.
Well, there you go. It just shows you where people's values actually are, and it's to the shareholders.
You said NPR.
It's NPR.
And to their bottom line, all that. Oh, we don't want to offend anybody. Look, as soon as it doesn't matter. Like
it was sexy for the moment.
It was sexy for the moment because if I could see if let Kyrie really start balling out in Dallas,
he's going to,
and all of a sudden they wind up in the NBA Finals, Nike will be like, you know what? Maybe we were a little bit.
Nah, Nike ain't gonna circle back.
You don't think so? Well, they have enough of going on.
Yeah, Nike ain't gonna circle back.
Nope.
I don't know. Neither here nor there. Go ahead. My bad.
No. But once again, it just shows you after a certain amount of time, people will, unless you're Chris Brown, they will forgive you or figure it out or find a way to continue to make money. And I can't even say that with Chris Brown because people still go to his concerts.
Yeah, people are going to. But he had $1,000 meet and greet.
Yeah, but
with a long line.
I think about we multiple just had the Super Bowl pass, and I remember when Ray Lewis was radioactive because someone died in his presence allegedly.
Come on,
I guess it's not allegedly, but it wasn't. But maybe 2 or 3 years later, where he was on the cover of John Madden Football and was a spokesman for Nike. Yep. So here's somebody involved in actually somebody losing their life, and when it depends on how good your songs are and how many touchdowns you run for.
He's the only, I will go out and say he's the only football player that came out unscathed on a situation like that.
Well,
Ray, you said Ray?
Yeah.
You got to understand, all he did was kill someone. He didn't hurt people's feelings like Colin Kaepernick did.
Yeah. What's the name
from?
I'm just saying, like, it's one thing to take someone's life. It's another thing to hurt white people's feelings.
You can beat up women too. Evidently.
Well, as long as there's no videotape of it. See, that Ray Rice, they were going to let him play.
I promise you, Ray Rice was going to play.
Ray Rice was going to finish his career with the Ravens.
He definitely was going to finish his career.
But then the video came out, and they're like, well, no, this is exactly what was described to us. So,
yeah. Gotta kind of go with it.
But these numbers in this article are staggering. So, just the idea of if this were to possibly happen, could you imagine?
This is what I know it's going to be a ripple effect from. I guarantee you, no other company is going to invest so much in an outside entity like they did, what Adidas did with the Kanye, because if just this one person we have and we're doing business with can tank $1 billion, then we're not going to give them that kind of leverage or power. We're never going to give anybody that kind of leverage or power over our own.
The thing with Adidas is they never had flagship artist or sports person that generate this type of income for them. So that's the whole reason why Ye would say Yeezy jumped over Jumpman, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he's a fan of Jordans, but he pretty much went to this company, made it very popular to wear Yeezy shoes, which, I mean, Adidas was popular before then, but you got to realize how much extra he was generating for this company. So these billions that they're losing is essentially all the money that they weren't making in the first place.
Mm.
So they put them in a position, and now they want to stay in that position, and they want to circle back because these Yeezys are still being sold, but everybody knows that Yeezy has, or Ye has nothing to do with it, so it's not selling the same way. I mean, they could do a Yeezy drop, and it will be sold out in minutes, and that's just not happening now because capitalism.
Well,
what you say, Lone?
Well, anti-Semitism was really why. But, I mean, but
what you think about the idea, Lone, the possibility?
Well, I don't think it's real because I just looked up all three of those articles and it doesn't mention that at all.
The possibility
of him buying anything back is not listed in any of these articles that I looked at. Everything here, I mean, I don't know what you're specifically looking at, but I'd like to know because one, this doesn't seem like something that they would do. That's why I wanted to look it up, and I don't see anything on any of these articles. So.
Well, but I didn't take it as it's going to happen. I'm taking it as the article is saying how much money they lost, which to me is a direct correlation in them losing Kanye,
right?
And the fact that if this were to happen, the ramifications is what I was talking about. I wasn't saying it was 100%. Definite that it's going to happen.
Okay. Well, I guess what I'm saying is I don't see it even listed as it's even a thing. Everything that I've read about it so far up to this point and right here is just pretty much the ramifications of what's going to happen because of Adidas.
So it's a hypothetical.
It's this a hypothetical that I don't even think even exists. I don't see it. I just wanted to make sure due diligence was there. But I feel like Adidas, you can't really be mad at Adidas for distancing themselves from Kanye West.
I agree.
So if they lose this money, are they going to lose billions of dollars? Yes. But to me, it's just a company. So the company has a bunch of shoes. They're going to dump off somewhere. They're going to lose some money, and then they're going to bounce back and still be a company.
They're about to try to figure out who to get next to try
figure out why this Adidas thing with Beyonce ain't working.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that part when Terry said that.
Well,
Beyonce's her clothing lines haven't sold well even before Adidas. You got to realize people.
Wasn't nobody trying to buy them dairy jeans.
People want to see Beyonce. They want to see her sing and perform and all of that good stuff. They really ain't concerned about wearing her clothes.
Well, that and like when they made it seem like the only people who were going to get these Ivy Park clothes were celebrities and people who already were famous.
Right.
I remember when they did that rollout, it seemed impressive, but I'm like, is there anywhere where regular people can buy this?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But I don't know. It was the same thing with the Yeezy shoes. Like when my dumb ass went into the spot and asked, can I have some Kanye West shoes? Because they look like sweatpants for your feet.
Can I trouble you some Kanye for some
and like
Kanye
apparently
West shoes?
like people who really want them can buy them. I just didn't want them that badly.
So here's my question. Can you actually still buy Yeezys now?
I still see people wearing them.
Are they like lower cost now?
No.
If anything, I see
it's
them
still the same.
About the same, if not higher.
I think I bought the last pair of Yeezys that dropped before everything went south.
So I guess
I still haven't even put them on my feet.
So you're telling me that the prices are still high. They have a whole bunch of stock.
It still says Yeezy on them.
But they own it, right? Technically, Adidas does, so they can still sell them. So I don't know. I don't know. This whole thing is confusing to me right now. So.
Yeah, but I mean, when your consumers know that he has nothing to do with it anymore, then all of a sudden now it's not deemed cool. Everybody wants the big red clown shoes.
That was pretty much what I was going to say.
Which is pretty much blowing up on the net now.
Yeah, them damn Astro Boy shoes.
Yeah, who wants to wear those?
I was going to ask you if you've seen them.
Stupid,
I wanted to know if you saw those.
I was like, a lot of you need to stop.
Cartoon characters.
Yeah, y'all out here just
Mascot
buying
shoes.
stuff because you saw somebody famous wear it.
Come on,
I don't even know what the
It don't go with nothing you own.
Nothing.
I don't know what the ticket are for them Papa Smurf drinks.
$325.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, and this is just me, and I know maybe I'm a little bit different here, but if I saw a pair of Yeezys that they had out still, and I liked them, I'd probably still buy them, even though Kanye wasn't a part of it.
Yeah, I would too.
If I saw
because I don't care what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
I would if they dumped all their Yeezys on at Shoe Carnival.
Buy one get one half off.
I would spin the wheel, and I'd because they look that'd be my new running shoe.
I remember you could spin the wheel and possibly get a skateboard out of it.
A skateboard?
Yeah,
if I get a skateboard and some Yeezys, I'd be in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like if they cost, if Yeezy, how much do they typically cost when you go to buy them now?
$200.
Damn.
Okay, that seems a little high, but maybe that's.
Oh, it's something way higher than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they cost like 100, 150 or something like that, and I like them,
you can find some like the foam posits or not phone posits, but the phones.
The alien looking shoes.
Yeah, them was like
Why would you say low?
I don't want those.
It was like $100, $80.
No, $49.99. That is my threshold.
The slides were like 70, 65, 70 for the slides.
The slides would be higher.
You know what this really kind of makes me? I'm going to go there again, but
oh man,
I really don't care. I really don't care that Adidas.
That.
Yeah, no, but I mean the fact that Adidas, like, they took a gamble on, all this, they're going out. I think it's great that Adidas took this stand that they did, and all that. But at the end of the day, that's inherently the part. What's the worst thing that can happen? They can lose money.
They can lose money.
They'll eventually get back.
Yeah, they can lose money, and then the people that own the company, maybe they have to sell it, and they have to be a worker again.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
and then they can start
before.
another company.
That's
we just
thing.
talked about that with
Adidas has been sold before.
Yeah,
probably multiple times.
And
made
they'll figure
the
out
wrong choice.
somewhere else. Like, because when you watch the World Cup and you saw all those jerseys, who made all that stuff?
Yeah,
Adidas.
They make all.
It's a worldwide
That's where
company.
they get most of their money is from apparel. In soccer and football and things of that nature.
And
Nike's doing football now, but Adidas does the high schools and colleges and things like that.
I think their NHL contract is about to expire, but I'm sorry. If you want me to be worried about Adidas, look somewhere else. I ain't worried. They're good.
I
got a whole lot of Adidas stuff.
I feel alone when he says, I'm not. You wouldn't trip if he was associated or not. If it was a good price point, you cop. To Terry's point, though, I just think the majority is the people that will sit back and just be like, I don't want anything to do with it if he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know some staunch supporters that would not even.
And to that hypothetical, if
this were to happen,
if Ye came back into the fold, it would actually make me not want to mess with Adidas at all. Because I'm like,
right?
I mean, they don't have any type of integrity at all.
Exactly.
How are you going to come out and be like, oh man, we're against this, and be like, well, we're not selling very good.
Well,
we can vouch for this anti-Semitism and this anti-blackness now.
When it comes to our pockets.
Yeah.
And
y'all see the Snoop sign with Skechers.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I laughed extremely hard.
Who's copping they Snoops?
Lone, you want a pair of them?
You going to buy them for me?
If I buy them, you wear them?
Well, I don't know what they look like.
We'll find you one.
Are they
what size
comfortable?
You 12 and a half?
12 and a
They
half.
got some Skechers at
I bet they
At
comfortable.
Shoe Carnival?
yeah.
Yeah, they do have
Jay Moore,
Skechers
no.
at Shoe Carnival.
I'm just saying, my threshold is $49.95.
Snoop gonna find that bread, and
Pharrell is the new creative director for Louis Vuitton.
Oh yeah.
Oh, word?
I bet you, Ye is not happy about that.
He's never happy about anything.
No. I mean, the last time I saw Kanye West, somebody was recording him smoking a bunch of cigarettes outside the back.
Really?
Behind him.
What? He going through it.
It was like, man, Kanye's going through it.
The last time I saw him, he threw somebody's phone in traffic. Like,
I seen that.
Reached in there and got her phone and just threw it on the ground.
Hold on, I thought he was married again.
I saw that too. I don't know.
He was what?
Is he married again?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I'm happy that I don't know the latest Kanye news.
He
last thing I saw was
married
the phone.
Anybody.
What white woman did he marry?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He said it. He said it. None of us did.
Yeah.
Yo, we didn't. Thank you for the clarification. Y'all know who said it. So
no, good and well, you don't like that girl.
Hey, you stupid.
He on some BS, man. You need to quit playing.
Yo, man, shout out to Dave, man. Rest in peace, De La Soul.
Yeah, man. That one hurt. You want to talk about? I found that out right before kickoff.
Yeah. 54 years old, man. I understand he has some congestive heart
failure at one point in time,
I believe, and
a couple years ago.
And he didn't. And plus, he wasn't there for the Grammy performance, which makes sense. That's crazy, bro. Like you talk about a group that when I was a kid, like early night, like the 90s for
that's
real.
That's one of the core memories that pop up when I think about it.
Late 80s, early 90s.
80s with potholes in my lawn.
Yeah, man. Like 3 feet high, like that, man. Like I grew up on them for real. Used to love Me, Myself, and I. In the junk with them, with the Jungle Brothers and the Native Tongue and all that, buddy. Yeah, man, that's
and they're
tough,
a group
man.
that never broke up.
True.
Yeah. From that era.
One of the few.
You think about all the other groups that came through that era.
Yeah.
Something happened. EPMD, NWA,
Tribe
Called Quest,
Jungle Brothers,
or they just stopped doing whatever.
Who was on the documentary trying to reconcile to get Tip and Fife back together? It was De La Soul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All of them were there. And then
leaders of the new school. These are all people that was together.
Yeah. Look, Black Sheep. No, like you can understand. It is such an incredible thing for a rap group to stay together.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and he even said, well, he didn't say it specifically. I believe Pos might have rapped this on the Rock Cocaine Flow about how never broke up, or what he say, De La Soul to the death or until we break up, something like that. Never broke up.
Yeah.
I accidentally dissed De La Soul one time on a mixtape.
What? I remember that story.
I think you remember that.
Did I tell that story here?
I don't think you told it here though.
Okay.
I don't think I heard that one, unless I'm tripping.
No, wait, maybe you did.
You did tell it.
Yeah,
okay.
you did.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was a simple mistake. You know, I didn't realize. I mean, and it got all cleared up with. It was between Ghostface and De La.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They at one point they weren't getting along, and I didn't realize that the Ghostface freestyle was about De La Soul, and I mixed much more into the mix. It was called Tony's Money at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it was the beat that wound up being the De La Soul and Ghostface Killer song on the grind date. So they figured it all out by the time the album came out.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
And I gave Pasta Noose the CD, like, hey, check it out.
I met him one time. He's a really nice guy.
He probably threw that right out of the window.
See, 1045.
We'll give one a show.
That's crazy.
And they're about to hit the streaming too. Like that's what
yeah.
I hate that too, man. Like they finally about to, you know.
Their first album actually came out on my birthday, March 3rd.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what makes it so sad now is like when people, I mean, it's sad because, you know, he's I tend not to think about myself as a fan, but think about his actual family.
Yes.
You know, because that's selfish to be like, oh, I'm never going to be able to get to see De La Soul again. Right. It's like, this person never going to see their father or their husband or their brother again.
Uncle, whatever.
So, father, whatever, you know.
But,
that's
it's sad that there are parts of their catalog that you can stream now. Yeah. But, you know, if you really want to go back into the Tommy Boy era,
yes,
you know, they're slowly but surely putting some things on YouTube because they snatched everything off of YouTube.
Right.
Well, they gave it all away for free a handful of years ago.
I got their whole discography.
Yeah, me too.
You know, so it's just kind of crazy, you know, because if people want to go back and, you know, the grind date, I believe, is on streaming, and then like the most recent one that they crowdfunded.
That was the one with the samples.
Yeah.
It was all
that album was really good.
That was a good
too.
record. That was a good record.
Yeah.
And I don't think AOI. I don't think.
What was the name of that joint? The most recent one. What was the name of that project with the orchestration and strings and all that? I gotta look that up.
I don't remember
that.
But I remember
Snoop on there. They had 2 Chainz on there.
I hate the fact that happened, and like I don't know if they got everything to right as far as their ownership of what's going on because it's about to go back on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate the fact that this happened in the middle of that.
True.
Because whoever has the higher percentage is now going to push it faster, basically just to benefit themselves.
And the anonymous nobody.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Long. Yep. That's 2016.
Yeah, that album was really good.
Grind Date is really good. Grind Date was like I had heard them on features and stuff, but I mean, of course, this is not a secret. I got into this stuff a little bit later than everybody else, but the Grind Date was like the first real record album that I heard from them, and it's really good.
That was your kind of like your introduction.
Yeah, and of course, Rock Cocaine Flow, which was amazing.
Did you? But you like you normally will do. You backtracked and went back
a little bit, but to be honest, I'm not super knowledgeable of a lot of De La's stuff, a lot of their early stuff. I know their hits, their singles. I've remixed a couple of their records and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But like I haven't. Did
you ever go back and run Stakes is High?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know
that's one of my favorites.
I don't listen to anything straight album form like that, you know. So I don't.
You don't have to anymore.
I don't even know if I could tell you any. Is that an album?
Yeah, Stakes is High. Yeah,
I remember Stakes is High.
You know, I'm about to say he knows that.
Stakes is High came out the same day as Nas's second album. I Am. Is that the second album?
No, second album was.
It was written. It was written.
Yeah.
I Am is the third. And I just remember it was like I was working at the keys and engraving shop in Sears. Wait, from college.
You used to cut keys?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out here moving them keys.
He was Bob Vila, the key department.
I see you. I see
engraving cross pens, hooking up door knockers. Yeah, I was an artisan. No, and I remember I only had enough money for one, and I bought Stakes is High. I bought. It was written like a couple weeks later.
I think I might be wrong, but I thought they were working on something new as well.
Oh, that make it even worse, man. If they were, it's like Fife's verses on the Tribe Project.
Oh yeah, those albums came out not that far away from each other. I remember that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Fife's verses were on there, but it just ain't hit quite the same. You know what I'm saying? And it might be the same situation with this, but rest in peace, man. Like this is one of the most iconic groups in my opinion, and I just hate this, man, because we're seeing more and more people that are a part of our childhoods. We lose them in their 50s, bro. Like Coolio, people like that. Like
it's definitely showing you mortality.
Yes,
and that people that you looked up to or that were your heroes, essentially in some way, sort of form, are succumbing to life, essentially. Because I mean, it's inevitable that it's going to happen to each and every one of us.
True,
but it's just, I don't know, man.
It hits you now that as we advance in age.
Yes.
You know, it used to be if I saw somebody 54, I think that was so far away.
Right.
You know, 54 is only, 9 years away from me. You know,
9 summers.
Yeah. And you can think about like what's, and I think about how fast time has flown for me, in these past few years. You be like, 9 years ain't gonna be nothing.
No, for everybody, as it relates to, COVID and stuff like that. We lost 3 or 4 quick ones. It feel like to me. It was 3 actually, but we're working on 3. But
and the thing is, when we just kind of referring back to our list, did we put down either one?
No.
Nope.
And Pasta Noose is probably one of the most, when we talk about how underrated Black Thought is, like when you listen to Paz, you can hear it's like, oh, this may be who really kind of influenced Black Thought. When you hear their cadence and their wordplay,
I'm sure Black Thought would give Paz his flowers. I'm sure he would.
And I know like Black Thought's been around but Paz predates him as far as recorded music that I've heard. I mean, when people make these lists, nobody ever thinks of Dave or Pasta Noose as far as talking about their favorite rappers of all time. Influence. And honestly, when you listen to, of course, because I go back, because you get that nostalgia thing. When I listen to Break of Dawn,
come on,
off of Blown Mind State, which was the first single off their 3rd album, and you listen to Pasta Noose, you're like, why don't we talk about him more?
Yeah,
they were so unique.
I love that record, by the way.
As a group, De La Soul was just a really unique group. From their style, how they dressed. This was a time in rap where it was more politically charged, and they weren't really on BS, but it was more on some like peace. Not to be confused with hippie type stuff, but I mean, seeing on face value, you kind of took that from. That's why he said it in one of the first songs.
But then they'll have a song basically about a girl who's been abused, like killing her abuser. It was some deep stuff going on there, and stuff nobody wouldn't dare say, okay, we're gonna make this a single. You know what I'm saying? So
that native tongue movement is crazy. When go through the whole roster.
The song's called Millie Pull a Gun on Santa, by the way.
Man, they had some dope artists in that collective. All the way from Queen Latifah, Moni Love, Jungle
Busta
Brothers,
Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes.
The Black Sheep.
Yeah.
They were there. They were down,
That collective was very strong.
They said
Prince
it was,
Paul.
and they said it was just kind of like it wasn't like anything like planned out. It was just kind of like a group of people.
Yeah,
essentially.
It kind of reminds me of
Aquarians.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's the same type of vibe.
The thing that was the most confusing to me as I was trying to learn De La Soul was the fact that they all have different names, and so there's like Plug 1, Plug 2,
Plug 3.
Dave, and then is it Trugoy?
Trugoy.
The Dove, and then
Maceo.
then Dave,
Maceo.
and then just Dave. So he went by 3 different names, and so like it was
sometimes it might confuse you.
It confused the hell out of me. It really did. So did you see the thing? Not to straight pivot, but did you see the thing where Scarface and Willie D were getting
talked
into
about
it?
Yeah.
Willie D was really hurt, and initially I thought, remember we talked about this because Jay Moore, I was laughing. You said, man, Willie D need to sit down somewhere. Anybody?
I didn't say Willie D need to sit down.
Not
somewhere.
sit down. I'm paraphrasing here, but you
please don't have Willie D coming after me.
Willie D don't hurt Jay Moore. So
he ain't gonna hurt nobody. Like.
Be careful, man.
I know Willie D didn't. You know, I'm not gonna say
be
that.
careful.
Right.
He used to box now. Willie D used to box.
No.
Yeah, be careful.
I told you, Willie D told me. He said, if you got a beater, you don't need her. Shout out to Willie D for giving me them words of advice and sending me on the right path as a young man.
As I heard him plead his case. Did you see the?
Yeah, I watched it. I actually kind of agree with Willie a little bit.
I started off on
because I was thinking from our point of view, like say we're on a podcast, and we're like, "What you doing this weekend?" Oh, I'm going to the Grammys. Yeah, that's kind of whack, man. Like I'm gonna tell you, I'm going to the Grammys to perform. Actually, when I got the call, I probably would have said, "Hey, I got a call to do this. Do you want to do it with me?"
So the reason why I agree with Willie is because did Scarface do a Ghetto Boy song?
He did
Mind Playing Tricks.
So yeah, why wouldn't you have Willie there for that? Like if he's doing a Scarface song, I can almost kind of understand.
And that's what Willie D was saying.
But
yeah,
the Grammys called Scarface though, right? So
Scarface supposed to tell him no, because at first, because on the lab when we talked about it, I was kind of like Willie D shouldn't be tripping because Scarface represented for the Ghetto Boys.
That's my initial reaction. Yes,
hearing him say that he asked you, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm just going to this Grammys thing.
That changed it. And when Willie D said that his goddaughter was watching the performance and saw Scarface out there and was like, "Well, is Uncle Willie about to come out?" And then the mom had to say, "No, he's not performing."
Yeah, that's kind of ill.
He said,
"No, he'll be over later."
Yeah, at the crib though. Yeah.
He bringing wings.
What are you talking about?
And Willie was like, "Man, your kids got a chance to be proud of you and be able to watch you perform." So I initially was on the side that Terry said, but as I kept hearing him talk, and it was genuine, like they weren't playing. They brothers, they gonna be cool, but that was a genuine, heated, like
for sure.
It was a legit conversation, and I actually respect.
And it was warranted too. I get it,
and I respect what Willie D was saying. I had to come around. I did.
No, I would be upset if the potties or whatever. That sounded really bad.
The
podcast Grammys,
really
whatever, like came around and be like, "So Terry, what you doing this weekend? I might need you to DJ." He'd be like,
"I'm just going.
Oh man, I'm gonna be out in California for
going
this
to
thing."
The potties.
You know?
And I look up. Yeah. And you just on stage.
Yeah, that's kind of lame. Me personally, I wouldn't be able to do that personally. That's just not how I'm wired.
I feel like to me the selling point. I was with Scarface.
I was
at
too.
first.
Until I saw it. Until it was the fact that he performed a Ghetto Boy song. I was like, nah, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, initially,
because Scarface has a whole career by himself too.
He does. There's plenty of records he could have done,
but.
I mean, and once again, I know there's only so much time. You can't do multiple verses, but they could have figured out a way,
right?
Man, even if they just mashed, I don't know, 4 bars each or something like that.
Willie was just on stage with him,
doing ad libs or something.
Yeah,
he was like, "I got the call. You still, if I got the call, I'm going to tell my friends. Listen, such and such called me to do
Scarface was like, "You're right."
Yeah, he couldn't say nothing.
But he didn't. I don't know.
You don't know if it was genuine when he was saying you're right.
He was like, "No, you're right."
Look, you told.
I just think he was in his lane. He didn't care.
He didn't care.
You told us all when you were going to be on Fox News.
Yeah,
I did, didn't I?
You did.
Actually, you know what? I don't even know if I told you guys. I reached out to them and said, "Are you sure you don't want somebody else?"
Yeah, you did say that.
So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, man. All I'm saying is, I better not see either one of y'all at the potties. You know what I'm saying?
The potty awards.
Yeah, just let me know, man. You know, if you go up there, you gonna wave the flag. Cool. Just let us know you're going to the potties, Jay.
At least, even if they just said we only want one person, everybody got to go. At least be in attendance.
I'll be in the crowd. Yeah. We'll root for you.
Yeah, when somebody get a Grammy award or something, they have everybody up on stage that had something to do with it. Everybody don't talk.
True.
But you're present.
I nominate we send loan and just keep everything nice and safe and.
So you think sending me would be safe? I mean, maybe.
Keep it nice and safe.
Jay Moore might be a little too aggressive, man. I don't know. He might say something up there.
I get to talking about third world white people.
Yeah, so I think we just send Lone.
I feel like
Lone would be the one that would end up being a super troll.
Hold up, I don't think that I would be the safe one though.
No, definitely not.
I feel like you would be the safe one. You could be the most politically correct. I think
I could flip it. Yeah, I could do that.
I can go either way.
Yeah.
I'd be up there thinking like, how can I sneak some random bullshit in here?
That's a good point. You probably would get up there, act a fool. Jay Moore started talking in his
I mean, I did on the Fox
quiet storm voice up there. Yeah.
I'll be like, well, look here.
He'll start telling a story.
Hip hop is always going to be relevant.
But nah, man, I felt for Willie, man, and I'm felt for him, and I'm with you, Willie D, on that one. And I don't want no problems, and none of us do. So
he said, "Your girl want that Willie D."
Scarface,
Shouts to Mac Miller.
Scarface gonna have to eat this one. That's all I can tell you.
That wasn't cool, man.
Yeah,
that wasn't cool.
They should have called both. If they had. He said they rehearsed it, so if they knew they was gonna do that record, they should have.
I'm just going to this Grammy thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to this Grammy thing. That's tough.
Yeah, that's
so funny.
That's
You know how bad that is to just be like, yeah, they asked me to go to this Grammy thing.
He's like, but they asked me.
Yeah, like that justifies the fact that you ain't tell him.
You didn't even tell him. Y'all do a whole podcast together every week.
A whole podcast. It's like, you should have been like, hey, man, it's like if we went to the potties. And
hey, we want our bread too, man. No nobody, I
don't think anybody's gonna steal that.
The potties.
Yeah, it's not provocative enough, man.
What would the logo be is the question.
I don't know.
What's the logo for the potties?
Toilet.
A Joe Budden bust.
Sitting on the toilet with a microphone.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Y'all see Joe Budden going off about podcasts?
Him and Nori were.
Yeah, he was going off about people trying to jump in the podcast game and mad because I ain't getting money type stuff.
We've talked about that here.
Yeah.
Nori was acting. Nori was showing out though. Nori was stunting. He was calling people, like I told when we was talking about on that episode. He was stunting bad. Like I'm getting this paper. I got 3 different deals. Y'all whack. All this. I said, okay.
Yeah, he came into this as a famous person.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Well, that's who Joe Budden was calling out essentially. Was the people that had some kind of fame at some point in time try to hop in the podcast game and don't have the chops to continue to keep doing it.
Right. No, I remember he called out like Amy Schumer one time. This is when he was going through his whole thing with Spotify. It's like, why do you think people want to hear what Amy Schumer wants to talk? Like he really went, but at the same time, it made sense to me because I'm like, why does anybody want to listen to, but gave her all this money and you fight with me over nickels and dimes and like I'm at one point Spotify's most popular IP.
Yeah. I don't really want to hear it, Amy. Do you?
I don't even want to watch her movies.
No, I'm cool off Amy Schumer. No cool. No, thank you.
All right, man. That'll do it. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate you as always. Remember newoldheads.com.
We got stickers.
All the education you need. We got the stickers in. We see it, like it, subscribe, share. Pay for it if it has a pay option. We really appreciate the support, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Goodbye.
Yeah.